coming up on Focal Point. After 2 years, the Homecoming Parade makes a comeback to MSU.
I'm still very pleased with that being on hiatus for 2 years to have that big of a turnout.
There are numerous ways to support cancer research, but Cody Dean is taking matters into his own hands. Coming up, I'll show you how he is changing lives one ride at a time.
Walk inside a store that has been around for decades, and so has their music.
But I miss that physical, just hold like this guy holding his vinyl, you know?
1, 2, 3, cheese!
And the Lansing community finds a new way to end Alzheimer's, one walk at a time.
Finally, the state is really going to be dedicating the resources necessary to this disease.
Focal Point starts now. Hello and good morning. I'm Ian Gilmore.
And I'm Chandra Fleming. Welcome to Focal Point. We start with a story here in Lansing at the state capitol. As part of Governor Gretchen Whitmer's proposed budget, money will be added to support a new dementia unit. For the first time, there will be a dedicated office in the state government to handle issues related to the disease.
Jennifer Leppard, the president of the Michigan chapter of the Alzheimer's Association, said action like the governor is taking wouldn't have been possible without support. For example, like that walk to end Alzheimer's. Focal Point's Reagan Holgate was there and shows us why events like this are so important.
It is time to end it, and you're here to do that.
They came here to make change.
This is very personal to me.
My father was just diagnosed.
My grandparents, who both are suffering.
The purple is if you've lost somebody to Alzheimer's.
It is personal for Judy Labovitz.
In my case, it's my husband.
Judy lost her husband, Alan, nearly 3 years ago to Alzheimer's.
My kids said that their dad was blissfully oblivious.
Judy is here today representing all of those who have lost someone with Alzheimer's disease.
And that's why everyone is here today, to walk and talk about Alzheimer's.
Now I'm living it, and so it gives me a little bit more ability to have conversations with people about the reality.
It's a devastating disease, and everyone here has been affected, somehow, some way, by it. For Judy, day to day became a challenge.
And it reached the point where he was putting his clothes on backwards.
Bittersweet memories.
And one day he said to me, I think we ought to get married. I sort of looked at him and I said, we are married. He said, well, when did we do that? I said, 57 years ago. Oh.
And she wants to help.
To do anything I can to support this.
Nearly 1,000 people showed up at the Lansing Capitol in support of the Alzheimer's Association.
So far, we have raised over $140,000.
Today, there is comfort in numbers. To help end this disease.
No matter what color you're holding, one thing is the same. These flowers have a lot of fight in them.
In Michigan, nearly 150,000 people have Alzheimer's or dementia. Jennifer said now that the state government is finally dedicating its resources to this disease, it's a small step in the right direction to one day finding a cure. In Lansing, I'm Reagan Holgate with Focal Point News.
Okay, Reagan, it seems so many of our friends and family are somehow affected by these diseases. Thanks for that report. President Biden stopped in Michigan on Monday to pitch his new infrastructure plan. Biden landed at the Lansing airport. Governor Whitmer and Congresswoman Alyssa Slotkin met him there. After getting to Howell Township, he talked about his agenda called Build Back Better. The president says the goal is to create more jobs, cut taxes, and lower costs for working families. But not everyone is on board. Another rally was held in Howell called Stop the Spending.
But we risk losing our edge as a nation. Our infrastructure used to be the best in the world, literally, not figuratively. Today, according to the World Economic Forum, we rank 13th.
The agenda is currently being debated by Congress. The Republicans are questioning how many wealthy and large corporations will have to pay on the new agenda. Biden said that his agenda was a reinvestment in America to remain competitive in the global economy.
One person is hurt and another facing assault charges after an early morning fight in East Lansing last Saturday. According to witnesses, around 2 a.m. on September 26, two people started fighting. One of them stabbed the victim with a knife several times. He was taken to a hospital. The suspect was taken into custody.
You know, the detectives reviewed the case, put the case together, presented it to the Ingham County Prosecutor's Office. They issued the appropriate charges on the case, and the case now lies in their hands for prosecution purposes and to walk its way through the court process.
The victim has recovered and is out of the hospital. The case is in a district attorney's hands.
These days we can listen to music anywhere. We have the largest music library right inside our pockets with our phones. But there's a store in East Lansing that trends a little old school. Focal Point's Riley Wolfbauer is live at Flat, Black, and Circular. So Riley, Flat, Black, and Circular, what do we think they specialize in?
Yes, Ian, they specialize in vinyl. I'm outside Flat, Black, and Circular, which opened up in 1977, making it one of the oldest businesses on Grand River. They don't only specialize in vinyl, they also sell cassettes and CDs, proving that they can survive no matter how we listen to our music today.
The hustle and bustle on Grand River Avenue in East Lansing is back. 50,000 students are breathing life back into these businesses. One store has been open since vinyl records were popular.
Music has been something I've loved since I was a kid. Legitimately, I'm one of those kids that always wanted to work at a record store.
Clint Harkness works at Flat, Black, and Circular, a record store that opened in 1977. It survived the cassette era, CDs, and most recently, a pandemic.
At Flat, Black, and Circular, customers can find albums ranging from old to new. Customers can find a limited edition garage rock album made in the 60s that only had 1,000 copies. Or customers can also purchase new Billie Eilish.
It's really cool, but I miss that physical, just hold like this guy holding his vinyl, you know?
I don't know, I've always liked music.
Dave Bernath.
I don't know, turn it up, it does something for me.
Owns a little storefront on Grand River, and he loves the fact that vinyl is popular again and bringing in new and old customers every day.
I made a lot of friends here, going to see music, and I don't know, it's sort of a dream job, I think.
You could say that Dave has come full circle with his store. He opened it when albums were king, survived them almost becoming extinct, and now sees lots more customers coming in for vinyl.
I don't know, everything's changed in East Lansing, but Flat Black's still right here, man.
Dave Bernath is taking it a little bit easier these days. He's not working so much, but he's earned that time off. Now, the store opens up at noon with COVID hours, and if you come in, you'll find his longtime employee, John, spinning the records inside. In East Lansing, I'm Riley Wolfbauer. Back to you, Ian.
Hey, thanks, Riley. Hey, you're first in line today. That's a good spot to be in. Coming up, after 2 years of cancellations, the Homecoming Parade makes a comeback.
And we'll have the latest scoop on what's happening in entertainment.
And I'm McCoy Skimmer. We're looking at a cloudy day here in East Lansing. When we come back, we'll let you know whether or not you'll need an umbrella anytime soon. The forecast right around the corner. Stay with us.
Life hasn't been the same since COVID. We all know that. The pandemic has affected each of our lives differently. Some have lost loved ones, some have lost their jobs. Some have lost out on important milestones like graduation. Some really adds up to most. Most of us have been affected in some way with this pandemic. Stop the spread and mask up.
Mask up so I can travel. Mask up so I can go to tailgates. Mask up so I can go to concerts.
Mask up so I can see my family.
Mask up so we can live again.
Welcome back to Focal Point. It was a fun homecoming week last week that was all capped up by a football win on Saturday against Western Kentucky.
We'll get to that in a little while, but it was the parade that kicked things off, and it's about time. In 2019, the Homecoming Parade was canceled due to severe weather. It literally rained on our parade, and last year it was canceled due to the COVID-19 pandemic. This year, the Homecoming Parade made its way back to the banks of the Red Cedar. Molly Grandry is live in the newsroom. Hi, Miley. How did it go?
Yeah, Chandra, it was a really great parade, and I was really shocked at how many people were there and the amount of floats in the parade. After being canceled for 2 years, nobody knew what to expect for the MSU Homecoming Parade this year, but the Spartan spirit was alive and the East Lansing community was back together.
This is a homecoming victory, even before the football game.
It's been exciting. I feel a lot of Spartan spirit being here, so that's fun.
Michigan State senior Carol Ann Brigham got to witness something she hasn't seen in years.
Well, it's my senior year, and because of COVID, I haven't been able to attend a homecoming parade, so I'm excited to be here and see what it's about.
In 2019, the parade was rained out, and last year, the pandemic washed it away. But this time, floats that carried the rowing team got to enjoy the beautiful fall evening. And bands from all over the state marched. It was a good return to almost normalcy. Usually over 100 floats participate. This year, a little over 90 made their way down Abbott on the way to Grand River.
I liked seeing the basketball team, I'm not gonna lie.
It was a chance to relax, except in the moments of grabbing candy thrown from the street. And it was a chance for adults to remember how it used to be.
And I love homecoming. It brings everyone together, all the alumni and students.
Director of Alumni Travel and Events, Regina Cross, said she was pleased to have such a big turnout and said the parade was an electric night. Chandra, Ian, back to you in the studio.
It was a pleasant homecoming week, but will that rather hold going into next week?
Well, who knows, but McCoy Scribner is here to tell us all about it. He's at the weather wall with your weather report. McCoy, how's it looking?
Good morning, I'm McCoy Scribner, and welcome to the weather forecast for this weekend and next week. Let's take a look. Here on the west side of the country, we have ranging temperatures as low as the 50s in cities like Seattle and Salt Lake City, and then highs of 80s in cities more south like Phoenix and Dallas. Now, if we look over here, we have warmer temperatures above 60s along the East Coast. New York City is a nice 73 degrees, and Miami is a high 84 for today. Now, say a closer look at the regional map at the Midwestern region, we can see steady temperatures in the 60s and 70s from Minneapolis to Pittsburgh. Now, the local temperatures, we're seeing rain across the board, and temperatures in the 60s, high 60s and low 70s in East Lansing. We're at 68. Grand Rapids is also at 68. Mount Pleasant is on the low side experiencing a cool 66, whereas Detroit is on the high side experiencing 70. As we check out our 7-day forecast, tomorrow may be a bit deceiving. We are experiencing to see partial clouds during the day and some showers later in the day with a high of 73. Sunday and Monday are giving us the most heat for the week at 77 and 79 degrees, respectively, with some clouds. Tuesday we'll expect more showers at 71, but the sun returns with partial clouds Wednesday and carries into Thursday with some more low 70s. That's your weather forecast for the week. I'm McCoy Scribner. Ian and Chandra, back to you.
Thanks, McCoy. Chandra, I think as we keep going, this might be like the last week and I get to golf.
Yeah, same. I think I'm just going to take a shopping trip this week.
Shopping day might be good. Moving on. Thanks, McCoy. The United States puts more people in prison than any other country in the world. Now a new exhibit addresses the issue. The exhibit at the Eli and Edith Broad Art Museum is called Persister, Incarcerated Women of the United States. The exhibit shares stories of hope, loss, despair, and survival. According to the Prison Policy Initiative, women in prison has grown by 834% in the last 40 years here in the U.S. Persister is a traveling exhibit from Tulane University in Louisiana.
The rate of incarcerated women has grown twice as much since around 1980. So it is an alarming issue in the greater problem of mass incarceration.
The Persister exhibit will run until December 12th. Admission into the Broad Art Museum is free, but you can receive free tickets online.
James Bond has been an iconic character since 1953, and in this year, he's making his way back to the big screen.
Focal Point's Maisha Johnson is here with this week's Entertainment Minute. Maisha?
Yes, No Time to Die with Daniel Craig hits theaters today. This is the 25th movie of the James Bond series.
Why would I betray you?
We all have our secrets. We just didn't get to yours yet.
Bond is back. Fans have waited years for the new movie, and it will be the last time Daniel Craig plays Bond. That's James Bond. No Time to Die starts with a retired Bond in Jamaica, but an old CIA friend needs help. The secret agent returns on a mission to find a kidnapped scientist.
You're the only one I trust for this.
The journey takes him high and low, ultimately leading him on a destructive path with a deadly new villain and two women whose hearts he broke. In the last 59 years, there have been 6 James Bond actors. Craig's 15-year run as James Bond may be coming to an end, but not without reward.
Me being on this pavement, surrounded by all of these legends, makes me a very, very, very happy man. So thank you very much.
He was just given a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, making him the 4th Bond actor to receive one. Wow, I still can't believe there has been 6 different James Bonds. I can only think of a few. I know Pierce Brosnan, and I'll let y'all figure out the rest. That's all for entertainment this week. Chandra, back to you.
Sorry, Maisha, I actually can't name any of the James Bond characters.
25 movies, Chandra. You haven't watched any of them? Sean Connery, you gotta remember him.
No, I don't know none of them. But coming up, a new staple inside the music building welcomes students, staff, and faculty.
And the 5-0 Spartans head to New Jersey to take on Rutgers this weekend. Will they keep their win streak alive? Asia Lawrence joins us next with sports.
Plastics are everywhere in our daily life. Though they solve a lot of problems, an over-reliance on them has serious consequences. Potentially because we've become so addicted to plastic, we have a problem with sustainability and pollution related to plastics. In our lab here at MSU, our vision is to produce environmentally friendly plastics using sustainable resources and a much smaller footprint.
I'm Asia Lawrence with this week's sports. The 11th ranked MSU football team is now 5-0 after a big win against Western Kentucky last Saturday. It was the second night game in a row in Spartan Stadium, and within the first minute before MSU's offense even took the field, Jaden Reed gets the crowd going, returning this punt 88 yards for a touchdown, the second one in 2 weeks. Reed is just the 3rd player in school history to return 2 punts for touchdowns in the same season. Second quarter now, Kenneth Walker III runs to the right, hurdles a defender, and dives for the pylon to score one of his 3 touchdowns. MSU led by 26 at the half, but the Hilltoppers would try and rally late. This pass from Bailey Zappi to Joe Bellin makes it a 2-score game, but Matt Coughlin hits this field goal from 20 yards out to solidify the win. Coughlin ties a school record with his 71 field goal. The Spartans win 48-31. They travel to New Jersey on Saturday to face 3-2 Rutgers tomorrow.
Rutgers is a very good football team. They're very well coached. They have experience. They have excellent players on both sides of the ball and on special teams. It's going to take a complete effort from our team this week to get it done.
Kickoff is at noon on Big Ten Network. The men's soccer team played their rivals in Ann Arbor on Tuesday. Michigan comes in winning 5 straight matchups in the battle for the Big Bear Trophy, and they wasted no time taking the lead. Just 3 minutes into the game, defender Nick Stone headed into his own net, but MSU came out of halftime looking like a whole new team. 3 minutes after the break, Farai Matatu finds a gap in the defense and then slats home to tie things at 1. 4 minutes later, Nick Stone finds himself in the attacking third and gets his foot on it to put it in, making up for his earlier mistake. MSU tried to hold on, but they give up yet another late goal. This time, it's Henry Callow of Michigan tying things up at 2 with 8 minutes left, and that's how the game ended.
Just a crazy, great college soccer game, and nothing disappoints in this derby. It's one of the best rivalries in not just the Big Ten, but all of college soccer.
The women's soccer team is into the thick of Big Ten play as well. They played Iowa on the road last Sunday. After going a goal behind, they scored 2 in the second half to secure the 2-1 comeback victory. They are now 8-1-3, now third place in the Big Ten. Ohio State rose into town this weekend for a Sunday afternoon matchup. The game will start at 1 p.m. at DeMartin Stadium. There are numerous ways to support cancer research, from walks to donations to lab research. But a local man in Perry is helping in his own way, one ride at a time.
Almost every day, Cody Dean puts on his gloves and helmet and heads out on his bike.
20 miles was a stretch for me to ride in a month.
It's become personal to him.
A couple of years ago, I lost my father to brain cancer. And so that's who I'm writing in memory of in the last 2 years is actually my father. So
he thinks about his dad every day and wants to honor him by riding all over mid-Michigan. He's joined the Great Cycle Challenge, a self-paced ride that raises money for the Children's Cancer Research Fund.
Really using it as an opportunity to get out there, no matter what you think you could initially do, you know, you might commit to 1 or 2 miles and, you know, just continue to push yourself each year.
Cancer has hit very close to home for Cody. Not only did he lose his dad, but his mother was also a breast cancer survivor.
She was always a big advocate on, you know, early testing and involved in different organizations around breast cancer.
He recently reached his goal of 150 miles, which he logged every mile of for his supporters to see.
It's been great. I'll be out riding in the back roads of Perry and getting thumbs up from people and things like that have recognized me.
Even though Cody logged his final ride on September 30th, his work with cancer research is nowhere near finished. He is planning an event next month that promotes physical activity, and all the profits made during the event will support the National Pediatric Cancer Fund. Cody Dean is proud of the work he is doing.
I really think that my parents would be proud that I'm doing this to raise money for the great cause, while spreading the word of the cycle challenge in itself to encourage other people to get out there and ride.
Cody has currently raised $1,139 to fight kids' cancer. If you'd like to help Cody raise money for cancer research, visit GreatCycleChallenge/writers/Cody Dean. That's what's happening in sports this week. I'm Asia Lawrence. Back to you.
Thank you, Asia. After several delays and postponements, the College of Music officially opened the Billman Music Pavilion, an expansion of the current building.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Donors, faculty, students, and alumni gathered to cut the ribbon and celebrate with speeches, music, and building tours. The $41.5 million project expands the current building by 40%, giving music students and faculty state-of-the-art rehearsal and performance spaces. Acoustically engineered for jazz, orchestra, percussion, concert bands, and choirs, MSU President Stanley says the new addition will help recruit world-class faculty and students.
It's a tremendous addition to our music department and to the university as a whole. It's a special, very special place. It's almost a demonstration model for how we want to build in the future and how we have buildings essentially that are going to help our students, faculty, and staff reach their full potential.
The expansion adds 37,000 square feet of new space with 8,500 square feet of renovated space.
That looks like an awesome space for you. I might have to go out and try out my vocal cords there.
Yes, definitely.
Well, that's all for our show today. I hope you have a great week. I'm Ian Gilmore.
And I'm Chandra Fleming. And speaking of music, we'll leave you with the sounds of the MSU Wind Symphony.